questions, feel free to ask. We get a lot of questions about our animals in particular, how we manage them, things to train them. So feel free to ask me any burning questions you guys might have. Everybody's everywhere right now. I don't know where the zebras are.
They're over by the sables.
Oh, they're over
Yeah,
by
the babies were in the bushes.
Irritating the sable in their territory.
Do you recognize them by the name or just watching this thing?
Yeah, so I can tell each of our giraffes individually from a fairly fair distance. It just depends on what I can see of them. They all have very distinct markings. Their faces look different. Some of their manes look different. Their spot patterns are all different, just like our fingerprint. Those two are the same. So I can tell. I know that's Twigga because he's the only male we have. Only intact male we have. He's also very dark. So he's easy to tell apart from the other ones that are much lighter than him. I have somebody tucked over in the bushes over there. Barely even see her. So like half of her neck and her head. I'm not quite sure who that is. So you can tell the difference. Like I can see him fully. I know exactly who his. That has a possibility of probably 3 different ones. So I'm not sure yet. I can't really tell just by the 2 feet of her neck. But most of our animals have distinct markings on them or horn patterns that we go off. It's like all of our springbok look the same. They have the same basic body coloration, but their horns are all different shapes. So we can tell them by the shape of their horns. Some of our other animals are a little bit harder to tell apart. You gotta get really good.
So how many giraffe you got out here?
We have 9. We have 9 giraffe. We have 3 males, 7 females. Twiggas are only intact male. We have 2 castrated males. So they all get along really well because of that. So that's kind of nice. The 2 castrated males that we have weren't recommended to breed. So it's one of the many options that we have for controlling the population. It's a lot easier to place bachelor males together than intact males together. So if they ever have to go to another facility, we end up with 14 giraffes like we had 2 years ago. It's easier to place them in facilities that contain captive males than intact males. They're a lot more difficult to manage.
Do you exchange giraffes from one zoo to the
Yeah,
other?
we move giraffes all over the country. So there are populations of Versailles giraffe all over the country in different facilities. We try to move them around when they're younger. So Twig is a perfect example. He came from us from the West Coast. This time last year, he was only 2 years old. So it's a lot easier to move a young giraffe versus an older full-grown giraffe. Most of our full-grown males get to be 18, 19 feet tall. So we have to fit them into a trailer that's tall enough to fit them in. But then we have to move that trailer down the road. And a lot of the overpasses in the United States are 14 feet tall. So we have a trailer that's on a hydraulic system so that they can drop that roof down if they're getting ready to come through an overpass or something like that. We have professional haulers that we hire for those longer trips. There are people based right here in Florida that's all they do. They move exotic animals around.
Wow.
That's their job. So they're really good at it. They're really good at loading and unloading and driving these really fancy trailers that Disney can't afford. So that's something, right? But yeah, that's all they do is they move exotic hoofstock all over the place. So if you're passing a trailer on, the freeway, you don't know. There might not be a horse in there. It could be a bongo. It could be a donkey. Who knows? Yeah, it's really wild because the trailers look just like a standard horse trailer. We have a standard horse trailer that we use for a lot of our smaller animals that we move around. So yeah, you never know what's in there.